Okay, so we're doing UK today, as you may be aware. We will start with the first question. Overall admission process for UK universities. Have any of you attended the last week's um webinars? So some of you are new, but most of you have done this before, right?
No, none of
Okay,
them
I'm
have
Nomit.
attended a webinar from you, Nomita, before. So they're all coming for the first time.
Okay, so this is not the lot I met
No,
last
no,
week.
no, no, no.
Okay, hi, I'm Nomita Chopra, and I'm actually in Singapore, so halfway across the world. But I'm here to answer all your questions. We are covering most of the stuff on UK today from the questions I can see that. And let me start with the most obvious question: what is the admission process to the UK? So we apply through UCAS, which is University and College Admission Service, and it is a centralized service. You can't, I mean, you sort of can't apply any other way. You have to apply through UCAS. The good thing is that the whole application to 5 universities is all on one application, 4-pager, which is actually quite a simple one to do. I mean, at least the form part is easy to fill out. What you have to be careful about is what you write in your personal statement, the universities you choose, and I'll come to all of that later. So the UCAS application is, there are 2 deadlines for it. The first one is on the 15th of October. If you're applying to Oxbridge, so Oxford and Cambridge, or to medical programs or to veterinary programs. So even if you're applying to medical and vet programs not in Oxford and Cambridge, you still have to meet the 15th October deadline. You need to apply through a buzzword, so you don't apply independently. And the reason you use the buzzword, and University Options, who I work with, will give you a buzzword through your school, is so that it is linked to your school. Then your teachers can upload recommendations. They can check that your grades have been put in correctly, your class 10 grades. So that is why you link it instead of doing an independent application, so that the school is also involved in your application, which they need to be. Okay. You will apply to 5 universities within that one application. You need to obviously have a range of universities in terms of their entry requirements. So you should have a dream college, a couple of safety colleges, and a couple of target colleges. And all that is dependent on the grades you have. Your counselor will advise you on how to best choose your list of universities. But what is important, and which is not true in Canada or the US, is that you have to apply to similar courses at all these 5 universities. So you can't be doing history and politics, or physics and history, or you can't do a mix like that. It has to be the same family of courses. You can have some variation, but it should still be the same family. So say, for example, you could apply for engineering and also apply for engineering with management, or also apply for engineering with business studies. So, the same family, but for all the 5 options, you need to be sure that you have similar courses. And the reason for that is that the personal statement that you'll sort of upload on your application is going to go to all 5 universities. It's one statement of purpose that will go to all 5 universities. So you don't want, I mean, if you've done business in one and engineering in one, and your whole personal statement is how your life's desires to become an engineer, then the university where you've applied business to will wonder, why is he even bothering to apply to us? I'm going to reject him or her. Okay, so that is one important thing to keep in mind. The statement of purpose is 4,000 characters with spaces, so it's around 500-600 words, just a one-pager. And similarly, the recommendation that your teachers will upload is also about the same length. It's a one-pager also. You will have to give in your 10th grades, and your school will put in the predicted grades for class 12. Okay, you do not, unlike US and Canada, need to give your 9th grades and your 11th class grades. So that's good news. Only the external exams matter. So your class 10 board exam and then your class 12 predicted grades. Once you apply, so one deadline is the 15th October deadline, and the second deadline, you should have it all done by December, even though international applications are accepted right up till 15th of June, but of the year that you're going to study. But remember that the good universities all get filled up, so the sooner you apply, the better. If you're not applying for Oxbridge, plan to send in your application after 15th October, so there's no confusion that Oxbridge is one of your choices. And but before end of December, ideally you should send it in by November. Okay, I mean there's no need to hang on to it right till 31st December, even though you technically can. Okay, in the UK, unlike the US and Canada, where there is a deadline to apply, in the UK, all applications are on a rolling basis. So the minute your application reaches, it is on the pile for those that have already applied, and you don't want to, be the last person to apply. So the early bird gets the worm, and I really recommend that you apply sooner rather than later. Okay. Only exception to the rule is if you've been doing poorly in class 12 and you think holding on to your application may improve your predicted grades, then yes, hold on till December or so. But top universities, certainly top 20 universities in the UK, not after 31st December. Okay. Any questions on the application process? One thing a lot of students ask me is, do they know where else we've applied? Does one university know where I have applied? No. So what they do is they make a copy of your application and blacken out the other 4 colleges and send the application to each university like that. So nobody knows where you've applied. But if you apply before October 15th, by deduction, they know that you would have applied to Oxford or Cambridge. Otherwise, why would you meet the October 15th deadline? Anything I've left out in this part?
No, Namita, all good.
Yeah. Okay. So we come to then the personal statement, which is your next question. How best to write a personal statement? So as I mentioned, it's just one page of 500 words or so. And the important thing to remember about the personal statement, which is very different from the US, is that it is about your subject. Why do you want to study the subject you're applying for? What interests you about it? What have you learned about it in the past? What are you eager to learn more about or you're curious about? What internships, extracurricular activities have you done that are connected to your subject? What are your future aspirations with this subject? It's all about your subject. 75 to 80% is about the subject you're applying for. In the balance 25-30%, you could tell them about some other great achievement of yours, but try and link it to your subject. So say, for example, you are a prefect or something, and you are applying for business. You can talk about the kind of managerial skills or leadership skills you have learned while being a prefect, which are transferable, and that will, time management. If you're a sportsman, for example, sportsmen need to be disciplined. They need to manage their time well. They have to get up in the morning and go and play their hockey or football or whatever. And those are good skills for you to use at university, that you'll be punctual, that you'll know how to complete your work on time. So you can link, and the counselor that is helping you with your application will teach you how to link your 2 or 3 exciting extracurricular skills, internships, all those kind of things to your subject that you're applying for. So think it through. I mentioned the other day with the other class that I met that a personal statement cannot get you into college. So if you don't have the grades and you haven't done well in school, and you are not predicted good grades, it can't get you into college, even if you write the most brilliant personal statement. But it can get you out of college. If you write a poor personal statement or a poor college essay, they will say, oh God, this kid doesn't even know how to write a one-pager. I don't want him in my college, and you can get rejected. So personal statement, and in America, the college essays are very critical. After you've met the requirements for academic entry, they are going to look at your recommendation and your personal statement to see whether you're the kind of candidate they want in their university. So, as with all good institutions, they have many more applications than they have seats. So they're trying to find a way to reject children. Okay, they have to. They can't take everybody who applies. They get thousands and thousands of applications. So since it is, I mean, it is partly, of course, your academics, but it is also partly, I mean, after you've cleared that barrier, it is about your how well your personal statement is written, how convincing you are that you are a good fit for this subject. And which is why, you know, when students tell me, oh, I've done physics, chemistry, maths, but actually I think I want to study law, you know, then how do you convince them? What do you write in your personal statement? Why didn't you take history and political science in school instead of this, if law is what you want to do? So that is, of course, an extreme case. But again, we want to convince them that you have made the right choice in the future and you're moving towards the right career in the past, and you're moving towards the right career in the future. Okay? So that is the bit about the personal statement. How important are extracurriculars? Okay, as people, extracurriculars are very important. You need to be a fully rounded individual, have a holistic school experience, and we want you to participate in anything. Now, when we come to the application part, as I mentioned before, extracurriculars are important if you can link them to your application. Okay, and so they may be applying for medicine, but you're an MUNer, maybe they don't really care, you know. So you need to find how to link it. But yeah, you're applying for medicine, but you're a musician, and you know what it is to be dedicated, you know what it is to manage your time, to be persistent, perseverance, all of that, that you can show through your extracurricular as well. That, you know, I'm a musician, I know discipline, I know how to manage my time, I've taken all these external exams, Trinity College, grade 1, grade 2, whatever. So you can link it, and you should. Secondly, are you all in grade 12 now? I mean, entering grade 12? Yeah. So there's very little you can do now at this last stage, but I would still recommend that whatever is your interest area, this summer try to do something related to that interest. So if you're interested in applying for law, go work for a law firm. If you're interested in architecture, even if it's just job shadowing, nobody's going to give you anything valuable to do. You don't know very much. Okay. So, but job shadowing is a very good way to come to know how an organization works, the career you're getting into, what are the nitty-gritties of this career. If you can do that this summer, please try to do it. You know, it is very valuable. For courses like medicine and all, you have to have worked in a hospital, or, I mean, obviously worked without pay, but worked or shadowed a doctor or worked in a clinic to be even considered for a medical program. Okay? So it is a big feather in your cap if you've done something related to what you want to apply for. Any questions?
Nothing, Namita. We'll move.
Yeah, all clear. Okay, so next question, which are the activities required to demonstrate an interest in the course? I've just answered that. It should be related to your course. Okay, if you are applying for travel and tourism, go work in a hotel. Okay, if you are going into the hospitality sector, you should have at least experienced the hospitality sector. There was some interest in culinary arts. If you want to be a chef, show them what you've done. You know, do you have a blog, for example? Do you put your recipes on the blog? If you're applying for art and design, you need to show them a portfolio, but it'll be really nice if you could help in some art gallery or in an art exhibition. So anything, any subject in the world, you are sure to find some related work that you could have done. So those are the activities that you need to show. And working is one thing. If you're applying for art, obviously you would have taken some art classes outside of school. So those are also activities that you can show. If you are applying for a maths course, then do you take part in the maths Olympiad? That's a perfect activity for you. So for every course, I'm sure you can find something, either in terms of work or in terms of courses. If you want to be a writer tomorrow, can you show them any piece of writing work that you've done? For those children who are inclined towards journalism and things like that, I suggest at least have a blog. A blog is the easiest thing to have. Nobody's judging you on it. You don't need to get it published. Then you should be part of the school magazine or yearbook or whatever there is available in school for you to. You should be giving articles and all. How do you convince them that you're a good fit for this course? You can only convince them through this fact that yes, I have done all these activities to show you my interest. Okay?
Yeah.
All clear? Yeah.
Question. Ma'am,
Yeah.
I'm thinking about applying for a liberal arts course. So any extracurriculars that I could link to that, because there are a variety of subjects, right?
Okay. So which stream have you taken right now?
Humanities.
Okay. So try and show them some interest in the sciences. Okay. Either you can do a course on Coursera, for example, because the liberal arts is not an arts program. Remember, it is a combination of different subjects. It's a liberal arts, science and engineering. That's the full form of liberal arts. Because there is arts right in front, we assume it is a humanities course. Yes, you can choose only, or finally you can major in a social science, but you will study even in a liberal arts program, the sciences as well as the arts. So what is missing for you right now is you don't have anything in the sciences, or have you taken maths?
No, I've got psychology though. That helps.
Okay, so you need to show them the diversity. Who goes for a liberal arts program is a child who has varied interests. Okay, is interested in the science, is interested in the arts. So that is the kind of child that chooses a liberal arts program, because that will be expected of him to be able to, him or her, to be able to be be accomplished in all subjects. So try and substitute, because they understand in school, in a CBSE system, you have to choose the stream, and you've chosen humanities. There is a little bit of science and psychology, but maybe you can build up your mathematical skills elsewhere, or you'll have to show them something beyond just pure humanities subjects. Okay? Any other question?
Nothing, Namita. We'll move.
Okay. Okay, next question, accommodation and scholarships at universities. So at the UK universities, almost all universities offer accommodation to undergraduate students. However, unlike the US and Canada, you need to move off campus in second year. It is mandatory for all UK students. It is really teaching them life skills to be able to live on their own, get their own Tata Sky or Sky TV or whatever is the equivalent there, to be able to get their own internet connection. So all second year students have to move off campus. Many of them continue to live off campus into third year, or they come back to campus on third year. So accommodation on campus is for first and third years, not for second years. All the accommodation which students take off campus is university managed accommodation. So they have vetted it out, they have seen that it's clean and there's hygiene and the heating works properly, blah, 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 all those things. But you deal directly with a realtor and with a landlord and make a contract. The university is not involved in that part. So it is quite interesting that you learn these skills quite early in life. Within universities, there are various types of accommodations. You can get the fanciest en-suite, your own room, your own bathroom, to shared bathrooms and shared kitchens, and even a shared room. in the UK, it is unusual to share rooms. By and large, everybody has their own room. But every university will have at least one residence which will be room sharing residence for those who want to spend less. Okay, but 90% of all accommodation is your own room. What you share are bathrooms and toilets. I'm sorry, toilets and kitchen. Okay, then again that depends. Sometimes it could be just sharing with 6 people. Sometimes it could be sharing with 10 people. It could be the whole dorm, and like there are 20 rooms and there are 3 bathrooms or whatever. Usually the bathing area and the toilet is separate so that everybody is not lined up outside. Okay. The good thing about not having an ensuite bathroom is that you don't have to clean it. Then the university cleans the bathroom. If you have an ensuite bathroom, you have to clean it yourself. Okay, interesting. Get used to cleaning your bathroom. And aside from that, usually in every residence there's a washer dryer and all the rest of that. So accommodation and kitchens have, like if you're sharing a kitchen with 10 people, there'll be 2 or 3 refrigerators, and everybody gets their own shelf, and you will also get a shelf in the freezer. So it's very well organized, it's very neat and clean, and it depends on how much you want to spend, because accommodation will go from about £75 a week to £150 a week, depending on how fancy your accommodation is. It is a fact, though, that international kids have the fanciest accommodation. The local kids have the cheapest accommodation. So I'm assuming from that the international kids are the richest, to take fancy accommodation. Yeah. Okay. Then scholarships. Okay. The UK is very stingy with scholarships. So it's a short answer. Basically, there aren't a lot of scholarships. You could look at private scholarships. The Tata has some funding, and there is the few scholarships that exist, the DFID, the Commonwealth Scholarship, the Rhodes. Aside from, most of them are postgraduate scholarships. Very few undergrad. The universities may sometimes, if they are lower ranked universities, give you a bursary of $5,000-10,000, usually £5,000-10,000, usually £5,000, but to attract you to their university. But really, I can't, on the top of my head, think of too many scholarships at the undergrad level. Most scholarships are at the postgraduate level. Okay, so that's a quick and short answer. Not too much detail to get into there. Okay, then which external exams to attempt, which ones to write and which ones not to? I'm not sure what you mean by external exams. Do you mean the APs and SATs, or do you mean the IELTS and the tests for... Sorry?
It's all, right? All.
All of them. Okay, okay. So everybody has to take the IELTS or the TOEFL. The English language test, everybody needs to take, simply because English is not our mother tongue. Okay? So English is our second language, even though we've studied it our entire life. So we probably think in English or dream in English, but we still, unfortunately, have to take the TOEFL or IELTS. Whenever you're free, take it. Every offer that you will get from the UK will be conditional to taking the TOEFL. All universities, or the IELTS, one of the 2 English language tests, all universities will have different English language requirements. So some may say we want 110 on the IBT TOEFL, some will say we want 90, that depends on the university you're joining and the course. So the social sciences, essay writing courses want higher English language skills compared to science and engineering. So that is a mandatory requirement. Then we come to other curriculums. Other curriculums are IB tests, AP tests. Those are actually other country curriculums. Quite seriously, you don't need to take it. Okay, you are doing a CBSE curriculum, you are covering it. The exception to the rule is if you're applying, so you're doing physics, chemistry, maths, English and technical drawing or mechanical drawing, whatever it is. But you've decided that I really want to do biochemistry in college. This is my new thing. Then you need to take a biology AP or a biology um, subject SAT. You need to do that to show them that I'm interested enough, I'm adamant enough. So you're really trying to show them different skills. So the only reason for you to take a different test, well, there are two reasons. So number one is this, that you are trying to show them that yes, I couldn't take it in school, I didn't take it in school for whatever reason. And now I still want to show you that I'm good at this subject. So I've taken the AP biology, or I've taken the AP, or I've taken the SAT subject SAT in biology. The other reason is if you've done poorly. So say you've done quite poorly in English, okay? And you can fix that problem by taking an English subject SAT or an AP. To be honest though, in the UK, all this has limited value because they don't really believe in the APs and all. It's not their curriculum. So you could take the A levels. That may be better for them. And they aren't really bothered about the subject SATs. They don't think the standard is high enough. And they prefer school curriculums over. So if you really need to prove a point, take an A-level exam. It's not the easiest thing to do. So I'm not going to pretend that all of you can take off and take an A-level exam. It is, the timeline is not feasible. You can't do a whole year's curriculum just sitting at home on your own. So it is better to select universities where you can get in with your entry requirements. And there's another solution to this problem. If you're changing your subject area, and I'll come to that later. But that's my take on APs or subject SATs or even the A levels. But there are some tests that you need to take. So Oxford, Cambridge, you need to take their testing for their various subjects. If you're applying for economics, you need to take the TSA, the Thinking Skills Assessment. If you're applying for maths, you need to take the math assessment test, or the STEP. If you're applying for physics, you need to take the PAT, the Physics Assessment Test. So they have tests for everything. Okay. If you're applying for law in any colleges, you need to take the LNAT. So those are mandatory requirements, but you need to check, and your counselor will tell you what the requirements for your subject and university are. There is a question later on about MORS. So for MORS, which is Maths, Operational Research, and Statistics and Economics, you need to take the STEP, which is the math exam. So it's quite specific to colleges and to courses, but you have no way out of that. It's a part of their entry requirement. So you have to take it. Okay? Any question?
No, ma'am.
Yeah. Okay. So, that is that about testing. There are two types of tests. One are curriculum tests and standardized tests, which include APs, IB, A levels, and the SATs and subject SATs. On the other hand, we have the entry requirement university managed tests, which are the LNAT, the physics aptitude, the TSA, and all that family of tests, which you don't have an option. And in between is the English language test, which everybody has to take. Okay, so that is that about testing. Any question on testing?
Yes.
Yeah. Tell me.
I'm a commerce student right now, and I want to get into performing arts. Are there any exams I have to give except the IELTS?
Sorry, can you repeat? You are doing what right now?
I'm a commerce student right now, and
Okay.
I'm planning to get into performing arts and musical theatre. Are there any
Okay.
exams I should give except the IELTS?
Okay. Okay. So for performing art and music, you need to actually audition. So you need to have a tape that you send them. You need to show them that you've done some Trinity College exams in your instrument, or if you're vocal, jazz, whatever area you are in. So you will substantiate. So you can continue studying your commerce. You need to substantiate your musical abilities. And then this leads up to an audition. You'll have to first send them tapes and all as part of the application. upload it, not send, but upload your musical, and they will have quite clear criteria that if you're applying for this, this is what we want to see. You know, they will give you what their requirement is in their course, and then that will be followed up with a physical audition. You will have to go to England to audition. But yeah, you don't, I mean, academically you can continue. You don't need to do any other testing.
Okay,
There's no APs or SATs that you need. Okay? Yeah. Okay. Is there a way to send SAT scores of a test taken in October when applying early? So I'm guessing this is a US question.
Yeah.
Yeah, because we don't need to send scores to the UK. Am I right?
Yes, we skip that.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. And you could just, many of the October tests are accepted and you can just send it when is the time to send it. Nothing great on this answer. Okay. So then can you throw some light on foundation courses in the UK? Okay. So there are a number of foundation courses in the UK in different subject areas. A foundation course is usually for you. So there are 2-3 types of students that take foundation courses. One are the Chinese students who don't know English. So they are taking the foundation course to improve their academic English and referencing skills and researching skills. So one is that category. And those students who struggle with English will look at courses that will build their English writing, speaking, researching skills. The second type of foundation courses are subject specific, and there will be families of subjects. So there are foundation courses in business and management for those who want to do that. There are foundation courses in law, because that is an unknown subject at the school level. Foundation courses in science and engineering. Okay, and sometimes law will come with social sciences. So there's a law and social sciences type of thing. Business and management type of courses will also include economics. Okay, and you will study these kind of subjects in these courses. And then there is the foundation course for medicine. I'll come to that later because it's a separate question. You will study English in all these courses, but aside from that, you'll study specifically what you are finally going to study at university. So it's preparing you for university. Who are the children who do foundation courses? There are 2-3 types of children that apply for foundation courses. One, those who did poorly in their grade 12 exams, so they didn't get into college. It's too late now. The result has come out. There is nowhere else to apply. The deadlines are over. They are good students, but sadly didn't do well. So they may not be also, they may be weaker students also. So one is the weaker student category that has to obviously need to improve their grades and, don't want to go to some very poorly ranked university and waste their parents' money. So they'll say, okay, let me do an extra year of foundation and aspire to a better college and I'll get this thing. Second are those types who are bright kids but just did really badly in grade 12. Maybe they fell sick, maybe something happened in their family, somebody died or somebody was sick and the exams got ruined and now they cannot meet their firm and insurance choice and they've lost out on wherever they were going to apply. So they'll say, fine, let us do. Because remember, it's a 4th year. In any case, if you go to America or Canada, you will do 4 years. So you might as well do that 4th year as a foundation program. The third category are those who want to change the stream. So you've taken science, huge mistake. Mom, dad told you to take science and become doctor, but it's not your scene. Now you want to do commerce and that is the love of your life. So you say, fine, I'm going to do a foundation course in business and management and I'm going to change my life, of study because I didn't really enjoy this. I was stuck doing it or I made a mistake. It's not something I enjoy. And the fourth category is, again, for a different type of course. Let me do a foundation course in law. I'm not 10,000% sure I want to be a lawyer. Let me use this extra year to figure out whether law is the thing for me or not. Okay? But remember, all foundation programs are not for international students. So your counselor will tell you which ones are for local students, which ones are very English specific. So please don't go for them because all your English is perfectly fine. And having done the CBSE, you really don't need to know any more English. So don't be careful and don't choose the wrong foundation course. Okay. While we are at it, let me also tell you about the medical foundation. So the medical foundation or the pre-medical year, what they call it, is, so one thing to remember here, it may not be for all international students. Okay, it may be for so that's another thing your counselor will research and tell you whether every A-level foundation program that you are interested in is even open to international students or not. Okay, so you can apply for a foundation in medicine if you already have the subjects. So you can't be a humanities student suddenly going into a pre-med foundation year. You have to have done your physics, your chemistry and bio and maths. Only then you're eligible. The only reason you didn't go straight into medicine were that your grades were not good enough. Okay. And secondly, it's also for those who are from slightly disadvantaged backgrounds, you know, in the UK. Those students who maybe didn't go to the kind of schools that have the rigor that allows you to get into medicine programs. So that's why I'm reiterating this. A lot of the medical foundation may not be for international students. So you have to pick and choose the right one. The medicine foundation or pre-medical year, it lasts about 30 weeks and it covers chemistry, biology and physics. And after you complete this, you enter into the 5-year medical course. But you should have the grades. So it isn't an automatic entry. It's not like, yes, I did pre-med and now I'm gone. If you don't do brilliantly in your pre-med foundation program, you won't get into the into medical school. But what it does allow you, so, you know, it's going to also teach you other things. It will teach you anatomy and tissue structure and biomedical sciences, genetics, hormones, development, infection. So there'll be, I mean, beyond physics, chemistry, bio, maths, there'll also be quite specific medical courses. Okay, and there's some 15 modules of them, and they are preparing you to get into medicine. A lot of the universities offer these courses, so it becomes the 6th year to your 5-year medical program. Bristol, Cardiff, East Anglia, King's College, there are a number of them that offer. But your counselor will tell you which exactly are open to international students and which are not. Any question on foundations?
Yeah.
Yeah, I have
Good.
Science right now. I've taken physics,
Yeah.
maths and computer, and I want to do a course in applied mathematics and economics.
Yeah. Okay.
Can I take a foundation course?
Sorry, could you repeat? You're doing science right now.
Yeah, and I want to do a course in applied mathematics and economics.
And you have maths right now, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so mathematics is open to you even as a science student. You can apply directly into any maths program. Technically, you can even apply into economics. You know, the reason a student like you will do an economics foundation is just so that you're on the top of the class and you know stuff. A better way to do that instead of wasting the whole year is to use your summer brushing up on your economics. You can do Coursera courses, you can find a tutor to teach you. I don't think you need to do a full year of economics to study economics, okay? I mean, just go to college to do, because you will go into a business and management foundation program, but that is not your dream location, right? You're not going into a business course. You may want to study economics only or data analytics or whatever you're interested in. With your maths background, you're eligible. You know, it's not like you're not eligible. But yes, I agree with you. You'll need to build the economics background before you arrive at university.
Thank you, ma'am.
Does that answer your question? Okay. Okay, then what are the different majors offered by universities in the UK? All the majors, students, everything from history, geography, maths, English, journalism, literature, language, you name it. There is everything there. There are 100+ universities offering millions of courses. I don't think there is from hospitality management to travel and tourism to event management to luxury brand management, you name it, it's there. So unless you have a specific query, everything in the world you want to study, you can study. Yes. Oxford and Cambridge, however, stick with the traditional subjects. So they have subjects like physics, chemistry, bio, the traditional old school subjects, and they are not, law is a very big thing at Oxford and Cambridge, but they don't have these newfangled event management, and they don't even have a business course. They don't think business is up there. Oxford has one program which is economics and management, oversubscribed. Cambridge doesn't even have that. Cambridge has pure economics. So management, business is, they think is a bit of a new wave type of course. So they stick with the traditional old courses. Yeah. But there are universities for everything, every single thing in the world that you can think of. Yeah. Only thing I want you to remember, and I'm coming from this, somebody had asked me this question about microbiology. At the undergraduate level, you will study the broader subjects. So you will study biology, not microbiology. You'll study biological sciences, and then microbiology will be a part of it, and you may graduate into that, right? So same, kids will come and ask, there's another question here, financial mathematics. There will be a course in financial mathematics. You will do maths or you will do finance, and then you will find a credit or a elective in only financial mathematics. So, my advice to you as a counselor at this age and stage of life, do a broader subject, because you never know, you may change your mind. What if all the banks die and we're only doing online banking and you're stuck having learned financial mathematics from day one that you left school? So please don't be so specific at a young age. Get the knowledge and then graduate into doing something specific. Okay? Okay, coming back to which is the best university for IT field, computer science courses. So I have a list here and I'm going to quickly read out to you what are the top 10 is what I'll give you at this stage. So I'm looking at this year's rankings. Cambridge, Oxford, Imperial College, St. Andrews, Durham, Warwick, UCL, Sheffield, Leeds and Manchester. Those are the top 10 for computer science. I think somebody had asked for architecture. Top 10 for architecture, Bath, Cambridge, Sheffield, UCL, Cardiff, Newcastle, Edinburgh, Nottingham, Liverpool, Strathclyde. Now you'll notice Oxford and Cambridge are not on this list. They are not for architecture. That is not a pure subject for them, so they don't even have it at university. So it's quite interesting how the old 200-year-old universities remain where they were a long time back. I think there was another child who asked for biological sciences, and I can give you that right away as well. Cambridge, Oxford, UCL, Imperial, Sheffield, St. Andrews, Surrey, Sussex, King's College London and Warwick. So I've given you the top 10 for all of them. You'll see there's a lot of overlap. Oxford, Cambridge, Warwick, UCL are pretty much in every list. But it's a bit like the good colleges are good at everything. Okay? So at most things. Unless you're Oxford and Cambridge and you decide that architecture doesn't exist as far as you're concerned. So do remember that Oxford and Cambridge also, by and large, don't accept CBSE students. So we aren't worried then what they offer. You go there for your masters. Okay. So after that ranking question, is UK a good option for mechanical engineering? So there are very good engineering programs in the UK, but to be honest, as a counselor, I think engineering has more scope in the US. UK has already built its bridges and made its buildings and done a lot of, they are closing down the automobile industry. If you have a choice, go to the US for engineering. If you don't have a choice, then do an undergraduate degree. You will get very good, excellent academic knowledge. maybe not as much hands-on knowledge as we would have liked, but all these universities, the top ones, will have roles and all. So I'm not running it down. I'm just comparing it to the US. The other option is do an undergraduate here and do an MS in the US. So if you're keen on the UK, don't close the door to mechanical in the UK. It's good. Look at the universities, and your counselor will help you, that have more practical ability, I mean, an ability to give you more practical knowledge than just the bookie knowledge. Okay? And they are. I mean, I've been to Warwick's engineering department. They're building cars there, the students, and they're doing all kinds of mechanical things that I don't know about because I'm a literature student. But certainly, it's not a door that you want to close. It is second to the US, though, I have to admit. Okay? Oops, I've lost my questions. 1 minute. Yeah. Okay. How to apply for medical undergrad through UCAS, benefits of doing medicine in the UK. Okay, so I've already told you, the only thing different from normal UCAS is that you have to meet the 15th October deadline for medicine. You cannot apply after 15th. The second rule is that the UCAS allows 5 universities, but if you apply for medicine, you cannot apply for more than 4. Okay, so they just want to make it harder to get into medicine. So medicine, only 4 universities. So what we advise students to do, and your counselor will do that, is apply for 4 for medicine or 3 for medicine and 2 for biological sciences in your 5 options. You can do that. And so you have a backup plan. Should you not get into medicine, then at least you have a backup plan and you have a biological science that you can apply for. Okay. How to apply, and benefits of doing medicine. The big benefit, which is the biggest benefit, is you go directly into an undergraduate program, which is not true in the US or in Canada. Everywhere else, you need to do a 4-year undergraduate degree and then move into a postgraduate medical program. So obviously, compared to 5 years, that is 9 years to get your MBBS. That is the hugest, biggest advantage. It's very similar to India, where you get into medicine directly after class 12. Are we up for time?
Yeah, but you have a appointment lined up now. We start.
Yeah.
You tell me.
Okay, so I'll just do a couple more, maybe in the next 5 minutes, then
Yes,
I can
5 minutes.
sign off.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So what are the annual fees for a medical degree? The first 2 years will be between £17,000 to £20,000 will be your tuition fee. The next 3 years will be between 35,000, double, 35 to 40,000 pounds. Okay. So it's very expensive, and this is not inclusive of living expenses. The living expenses are separate between 10 and 15,000 pounds, depending on where you're living, or even more if it is London, okay, where accommodation is very expensive. So you have to budget for this because there are no scholarships. The first 2 years are similar to normal undergrad years, you know, between 17 to 20,000, but then it doubles for the next 3 years. Colleges which teach microbiology, I've already answered. Let me answer the culinary arts question for the student who was interested. There are 2 ways of studying culinary art. Number 1 is if you go to a university. So there are very few universities that offer culinary arts. University of Derby, University of Ulster, and University of West London. Okay, so those are just the 3. But there are many cooking schools. The Cordon Bleu London is the most famous. Then there's also the Tante Marie, which is outside of London, next to Heathrow, I think it is. And so these are all private. They are not part of a university. There's the Academy of Culinary Arts. There is the Westminster Kingsway College of Culinary Arts. So there are a whole bunch of other culinary schools. But in terms of culinary department in a university, there are not too many, just these 2 or 3. Okay, I think this is for the student who just spoke to me about liberal arts. The benefit of a liberal art program is that you are giving yourself more, so there are two benefits. One, that you will have a much wider, holistic education. It is not stream based, so it's not like you've been in the commerce stream, business forever. You'll be studying a variety of subjects, so it gives you that kind of flexibility. And secondly, it also gives you time to figure out what is the love of your life and what within liberal arts do you want to major in. So those are the two big benefits of studying. A lot of kids are also worried about whether they'll get jobs after a liberal arts program, but the liberal arts program is as accepted as any other program, both in the UK and in the US, more so in the US, because it starts from there. The genesis of the liberal arts program is from the US. It's not a UK thing. UK has adopted it, okay? But obviously it is valuable, which is why it has been adopted by some universities in the UK. And if you look at who offers it, it is just the very good universities that offer the liberal arts program, okay? Bath, Warwick, King's College, Exeter, St. Andrews, Edinburgh. So really the top 10 or 15 universities are the ones that are offering liberal arts programs. Of course, Oxford and Cambridge will not do anything like this because they basically hate change. So they don't want to try anything new. Okay. Performing arts, I just want to go through the questions quickly so that we don't have to do this again. But I've already answered that question. Whether it's theatre, whether it's music, or even visual arts, for all of them you need a portfolio. The portfolio is uploaded, and then there are auditions if it is music or theatre. If it is visual art, then they come and they give you admission on the basis of your portfolio. And I just need to mention here that UCAS has a separate application for the visual art part, or the not the visual, the performing art part. So it is part of UCAS, but it's a separate application from the academic one. Okay, it's called the UCAS Conservatory application. So you apply to musical conservatories or theatre schools. Architecture in the UK.
You've answered that one also. Now, if I can just ask one last bit and we'll close it. The thinking skills assessment for Oxford.
Yeah.
How can the school support? I also need clarity on that.
Okay, so one is the school can actually hold the test in school. Okay. So you can apply to the British Council and to the British Council and say we want to become a testing centre. Okay. But in terms of supporting, I mean, it would be something like what we would do as counsellors. You need them to just think. Basically, there are two things in thinking skills assessment. One is problem solving and one is critical reading. Okay? And problem solving, for example, will be questions like you need 4 liters of water. You have 2 jugs, one that is a 5-liter jug and measuring jug, and one that is a 3-liter. How will you exactly measure 4 liters? Does anybody know? Science students? Can you give me an answer? Let me see your problem solving skills. You need to measure 4 liters of water, but you have measuring jugs only of 5 and 3. How will you do it?
How would you do that?
You fill the 5-liter jug and then you pour that into the 3-liter jug, so the remaining would be 2 liters left in the 5-liter.
So you fill the 5, yeah?
Or the other way around.
Yeah. Okay.
Sorry?
Okay. And otherwise, I'm sorry. Otherwise,
so I'm going to leave you thinking about this. I'll tell you the answer.
And otherwise, they can contact the British Council and appear for the TSA.
Yeah, and also there's a lot of material online on TSA. There's a question banks and practice questions and all. So that kind of thing. But those are the 2 areas you need to focus on: critical thinking and problem solving. You know, critical thinking, for example, will be, some research tells you that students who study music as children, who learn music, do better in tests.
Okay.
What does that mean? Does it directly mean that every kid who's good at music is good at exams? No, it isn't. You know, that is not true. But so what is true? That is critical thinking, you know. And problem solving is that kind of question. So it's, you know, it just wants you to use your gray cells and think beyond the bookie knowledge. So there is not a lot of preparation you can do for this. You can just read up questions and figure out what kind of questions are going to be asked. Yeah. So it's not something you can study, you know. But yes, it's a practical type of life lessons.
Great. Namita, thank you so much. We're done for the day, girls and boys.
All the best, kids.
Yeah. You asked me better. Yeah. Thank you so much, Namita. Thank you for your time. And we're cutting out on the 24th session. Huh? We've got the boys and girls together.
So next month you'll send to Kanika then.
I'll send you.
And college, school is on next month, right?
School is on next month, but all of them have their first term exams. So I'm not sure if we'll do something or not, but I'll let you know.
It's possible that Kanika may also do some of the webinars. You send us the details and then we'll decide between us.
Definitely.
Okay.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Bye. Bye.